Just when you thought that the Nicola Bulley case was over, Peter Faulding has recently released new Sonar images that clearly show what could possibly be Nicola Bulley. When Peter first found this target, or what he calls a target, why did the police not take him seriously? Why did they say that there's nothing there? If Peter was right all along, then what's going on here, guys? What are they covering up? And why are they covering something up? A while ago, I said that I'll never give up on the Nicola Bulley case, and I meant it. Guys, I made a video. I spent a long time making a video months ago, shortly after the BBC documentary was released. And guess what? They wouldn't allow it to be seen by you guys. They blocked it. They even gave me a channel strike. What happened to freedom of speech? Why can we not discuss things? Why can we not be open about things? Why do we have to be so careful? It seems as though that they've been just trying to silence us from the beginning. They don't want us to find out the truth. Now, why don't they want us to find out the truth? What are they hiding? What did they really do to Nicola Bulley? Let's hear the opinion of an ex-detective that worked for Scotland Yard that used to deal with these sort of cases. This interview was conducted on a channel called Break the Ice.
For me, it sort of seems like she's done a runner or she's been abducted. I mean, but then abduction at that time of the morning with a caravan park nearby, someone would have heard, I would have thought. And
you see, this is the thing, detective. Somebody did hear her, but the police didn't want to take it seriously. In fact, there wasn't just one witness that heard screams. There were two witnesses that heard screams. You see, none of us knew that there were screams heard in the area until the inquest. Nobody was told about this. For some reason, they kept it quiet. Now, usually when you're trying to solve a missing person case, you would ask the public for more help. But in this case, they just didn't want our help. Now, why is that?
You know, a grown woman fighting back. I don't know what her health was like. So it seems all a little bit odd.
It's definitely odd. And what makes it even more odd, that the police just didn't want anybody's help. It's absolutely ridiculous. With the public's help, they solve many cases daily. In fact, usually there are appeals to the public for information. But in this case, they just tried to confuse us, tried to silence us, did anything they could to get rid of us. You see, there wasn't just screams heard in the area. There was also somebody spotted that was dressed in black. Somebody that just stood out. You know, there was public that went past and noticed this man. Local people noticed that he was just out of place. There was just something not right about him. He even tried to cover his face when people looked at him. I mean, the whole situation was just so fishy. Now, there was an official witness statement that was made by a man called Mr. Fife, and he described how he passed Miss Bulley, who was on her phone while he was on his dog walk between 9:10 a.m. and 9:20 a.m. on the morning of her disappearance. Now, Mr. Fife described in his statement that the man was about 6 foot 1 inches tall, and he was dressed all in black and possibly a beanie hat. He states that he saw this man again on his return, adding that he thought it was strange. When Mr. Fife got in his car and drove off, and he drove past the spot where the man in black had been standing, he said that the figure had gone. Now, who was this man? And did the police even bother trying to find him? I doubt it very much. They didn't talk about him in any of the press conferences at all. Now, surely if they wanted to find out more about who this man was, they would have asked the public for more information. But they didn't bother. They didn't even bother to mention it. Now, the only reason that I can think of why they didn't mention this man, even after they received a witness statement, is because they knew who he was, or they're trying to cover his back. Now, who could he be? Was he hired by somebody to hurt Nicola Bulley? What was he doing there at that time? Why has nobody tried to get any answers? You see, he wasn't the only person that was seen around the time when Nicola went missing. You see, the day before Nicola went missing, a man was driving through the village, and he says that he saw two men wearing hoods and acting odd. An anonymous witness said that he was driving through the tiny village as he travelled to work at around 7:45 a.m. on January the 26th, when he spotted the pair in the graveyard of the local church. He told the Sun on Sunday, "I saw two men wearing dark clothing and hoods, or hats, and they were carrying fishing rods." He went on to say they could have just been two normal fishermen, and if I had seen their faces, I probably wouldn't have thought anything of it. But I remembered that they seemed to want to hide their faces, which struck me as odd. Now that is really odd, guys. It just doesn't make sense. Why would they want to hide their faces unless they didn't want to be seen? He went on to say it wasn't particularly cold that day, it was quite mild, so their behaviour, to me, seemed strange. He also said that he caught a glimpse of one of the men again the following day, at around the same time, less than an hour and a half before Nicola was last seen. Now this seems extremely suspicious to me, guys, especially because he was already there the day before. Now, did he come the day before to check out the situation? Was he part of something? Was he part of a plan? Was he part of an abduction? What was he doing there? Or what were they doing there? And why did Becky Smith, the senior officer, not mention any of this in the press conferences? You see, it just seems like she never took this whole case seriously from the beginning. She just assumed that Nicola Bulley must have just fallen in the river. The narrow-mindedness of this senior officer has really hindered this investigation. And we can't forget about the time when they tried to slander Nicola's name, when they tried to make her sound like she was some sort of alcoholic and that she was clumsy, and that's the reason why she must have fallen in the river. The whole situation is just absurd. Even if she did fall in the river near the bench, the water was so shallow that she would have just got back up, or she would have been near the bench. There are just so many things about this case that just don't seem to add up. Well, it would be good if they did a reinvestigation and even went back to the river wire. And surely if there was a reinvestigation, they could maybe find evidence of foul play there. But guys, there is a big problem.
I found out recently the island where Nicola was found has now been removed, which is very interesting.
Removed?
I was sent some pictures the other day. So the island has now been completely excavated away, so which would destroy any evidence on the riverbed. And they put loads of posts there opposite the island as well, which is very convenient.
Now, why on earth would they remove the island where Nicola was found, unless they were trying to get rid of evidence? Guys, what is going on here?
If you watch this carefully, you can see the shape that looks very much like a body.